Okay, Ruth, we're live. Okay, Ruth, we're live.
Okay, awesome. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the scholarship webinar. I am Ruth Lawrence, and I will be your host for today's webinar. If you are excited, I'm gonna ask for you to type in the comment section, scholarships. Now ensure that, I don't want any boring scholarship. I want you to ensure that there are exclamation marks beside the word scholarship, all right? So today's webinar, of course, its aim is to increase your awareness on financial support opportunities that exist for higher education locally, and also awareness as it relates to available scholarship opportunities, general terms and conditions in terms of how you can become eligible, basically. So the eligibility criteria for each scholarship. Now, tips on how to get a scholarship, and we will also be giving you access to the J-TEC PTF database. And for those of you who might have questions about the Jumba program, right, which pays 30% of your school fee. Listen, where else in Jamaica or where else in the world do you find something like, you know, that opportunity where, you know, 30% of your school fee is being paid, and all you have to do is to volunteer your time for only 200 hours. I mean, come on. That is, I would say, an opportunity of a lifetime. So before I get into the webinar, I'd like to thank the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, the Youth and Adolescents Policy Division, and the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission for coordinating this webinar. So because all of y'all came out so strong in the registration, I mean, we had over 600 persons actually registering for this webinar. So I feel a little generous, right? And of course, the National Secondary Students Council was very happy to, you know, donate some credit. And I mean, right now in this time in COVID-19, everybody could do with a little credit, right? So if you have your digital phone, I'm gonna ask you to take that out right now and dial this number. So it's *121, and panelists, you can't join, unfortunately. All right, it's for the guys out there in the live land, okay? All right, so it's *121 *4056781685210. All right, let me know if you got that credit. So let me repeat it. It's *121 *4056781685210. Somebody must get it, right? Okay, if you got it, please comment that you got the credit, all right? So big ups to the National Secondary Students Council, and be sure to follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all right? So we promise not to be long today at all, but I am excited because listen, we have some Jennas in the building. We have some awesome panelists who are going to be sharing some tips and tools with you in terms of how it is that you can actually get a scholarship, because we know it's a time hard, right? And that is one of the reasons why we came together to ensure that this webinar is happening today. So I'm going to be introducing our panelists today. We have Dr. Tamika Benjamin, and she is the mathematics coordinator within the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. I have also Miss Gina Sanguinetti Phillips. I love this last name, Sanguinetti Phillips. And she is the program manager of the Caribbean Catastrophe Disaster Risk Insurance Facility. And she's a part of the technical assistance team. We have Miss Lanisia Rhoden from Link Your Purpose, former festival queen. Most of you would know Lanisia if you've been following her journey. And guess what? She's very popular and she's very Googleable. Like all the persons I'm talking about, they're very Googleable. That's my new word. All right. And we also have with us Miss Tracey-Ann Smith from the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission. Listen, Tracy has the scoop because Tracy has been working hard over the past couple of weeks to pull together the database that we'll be sharing with you today. And last but not least, listen, the only man in the building, Matthew Ferguson, and he's also with the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, and he is a public relations officer. And of course, he is the man behind the scenes. He has been the person working to bring all of this together. So big ups to the team. Welcome, ladies and gents. How are you doing today?
Excellent.
I'm good.
Great.
Awesome. All right. So I have your bios here in front of me, but to be honest, I don't really want to bore the people in Jesus' name. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to ask for you to tell us a little bit about yourself. So I'm going to start off with Dr. Benjamin, just to share with us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and what's your role in all of this. So Dr. Benjamin, over to you.
Good afternoon, Ruth. Good afternoon to the other panelists. Thanks for having me. As you would have mentioned, I'm National Math Coordinator at the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. And I've had the privilege over the last 3 or 4 years to manage the scholarship portfolio under the Tertiary Students Assistance Program, in addition to my regular duties. I am a mom of 3 teenage girls, and I'm just looking forward to the opportunity. I love working with the scholarship program and the opportunity I have to work with students who, without it, won't be able to access tertiary. So it's really a privilege for me to be able to share the information today.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Doc. All right, so we're gonna jump from Dr. Benjamin right now to Lanisia Rhoden. Lanisia, tell us a little bit about yourself. Listen, I'm going to spill the beans on Lanisia. Lanisia, listen, this year was in Dubai. Like, Dubai people. Anyways, Lanisia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Ruth. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very excited and very honored to be here. I'm Lanisia Rhoden. I am the CEO of Link Your Purpose. I'm also the founder of a nonprofit organization, Young Women and Men of Purpose. So I'm very excited to be here because I know that scholarships are real. I had 2 scholarships, one to do my master's and one while I was doing my undergraduate, and I had grants and I've had fellowships. So these things are real, and all you need to do is just apply. So I'm very excited and looking forward to sharing with you.
Awesome, thank you. Listen, I hope you guys heard that a while ago now. Lanisia got scholarship for her undergrad and her master's degree. So she has the scoop, people. So ensure that you stick around to hear a little bit more from her. All right, at this time, we're gonna go to Mrs. Sanguinetti Phillips, who is gonna tell us a little bit about herself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm Gina Sanguinetti Phillips, and I'm with CRIF SPC, which used to be known as the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility. And we do have 2 scholarship programs, both for undergraduates and for postgraduates. And I'm here today to talk about those programs and also a little bit about CRIF, so you know a little bit about the organization. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mrs. Phillips. All right, so we're gonna go over to Miss Tracey-Ann, the lady with the goods. Tracy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm quite excited to be here today. So I am the policy analyst at the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission. And I've been working with J-TEC since the past 5 years, but most of what my work includes is a lot of research. So I'm supposed to conduct research to create change in policy and practice. And one of the major tasks is identifying gaps that exist in the higher education sector in Jamaica. And one of the major gaps that we've identified, which we'll be discussing here today, is how do we create financial solution for students? How do we create financial alternatives for students to pay for their higher education? So we'll be going a lot into our scholarship database that we've created at J-TEC. What are some of the scholarships that Jamaican students are eligible for, both locally and internationally, as well as some grants, bursaries, loans that students can use to finance their higher education.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. Matthew, the head cook and the bottle washer, but in this case, the scholarship watcher and deliverer. Go ahead, Matthew. Over to you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Matthew Ferguson. I work at J-TEC. It's my duty to it's my duty and my passion to work on projects that engage young people. And I believe that access to higher education financing is one of the serious issues facing our young people. And a lot of them, it has to do with the fact that they actually don't know. So being here and being a part of this platform to share this kind of information is really a pleasure. So welcome to everyone who has joined in on Zoom and on YouTube, and I hope that you stay interactive with us and that you can benefit from the information that we have to share.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew. So we're going to get right into things. And to kick things off, we're going to ask Lanisia just to share with us, you know, where can we find, or where can you find, you know, financial aid? What are the types of financial aids that are available to young people? And just to explain what it means, what's the difference between a grant, a bursary, a scholarship, and a fellowship. So Lanisia, I'm going to turn it over to you for you to give us the scoop on how to get a scholarship. Over to you, Lanisia.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. So I just wanted to say this. So I know that for most persons, well, everyone, school is now online, but school is not out, right? It's still happening. And that's where most of the scholarships are these days, online. And even though school is online, you still have to pay your school fees, right? So it means that you may still need a scholarship. And we're all looking to get over or get past COVID. So we want to even do the preparation from now that you have more time at home. So where do you find these scholarships? Most of them are online. A lot of them have been online before COVID-19, and more so now, a lot of them, or most of them, are online. So if you're on Facebook, they're there. They're on Instagram. They're on Twitter. They're on the websites of the schools, the organizations, the companies who are offering these scholarships. But where do you find them on Facebook? They might not be on your page. So you have to follow the companies and the organizations who are providing these scholarships. And some of these companies include foundations. So for example, you have NCP Foundation. They have their popular scholarships that they offer per year. You have JMMB Joe Duncan Foundation. There's Grace Kennedy Foundation. You have the colleges and universities that offer their scholarships. So you have J-TEC. If you go onto their websites or even on their social media, they will be advertising their scholarship. There is UA. I had the J-TEC Foundation scholarship, right? So they do, it exists, you can get it, and they do advertise it. You have organizations such as NGOs. So my NGO, Young Women and Men of Purpose, we offer scholarships. We started last year offering 3 scholarships, and this year we're going to be offering more than 3. So you have many private NGOs that do offer scholarships. So you can look out for those too. Again, they're on social media. You have the embassies. So some of you may be looking to study overseas. There are embassies who offer scholarships to study in their countries. So you have 2 popular ones are the British Council Chevening Scholarship to study in the UK. It's a master's scholarship. And you also have the US Embassy Fulbright Scholarship, again, to pursue higher education, whether a master's or PhD in the US. And many other embassies and countries offer scholarships for their institutions, right? Or for their country. You also have their companies who their job is to promote scholarships and opportunities. So you heard it already from Ruth and Matthew. The Ministry of Education through J-TEC or the YICs, they have a scholarship database now, and I'm sure they have been promoting scholarships on their own social media pages. Link Your Purpose, which is a social enterprise I'm representing today, we are an online platform that helps young people to identify and fulfill their career goals. And we do this by helping you to access opportunities such as scholarships, fellowships, internships, right, based on what you want to achieve. There are other organizations such as Scholarship Jamaica and Scholarship Corner that you can follow on social media, on Instagram. They provide scholarships. Do not forget, though, that there is a traditional method of finding scholarships. So newspapers, right? The Gleaner, they always have that pullout, especially as it gets closer to the time where the applications become available, open, that you have that long list of all the scholarships that are being offered, especially through the Ministry of Education. So if you have access to the newspaper, then you can still look there to get the scholarships, right? Now, I think the next question was, what is the difference between a scholarship, a grant. So scholarships are financial awards that are offered to students. Usually it's on a meritorial basis. So that means most scholarships, there'll be a criteria. They're looking at your academic performance, right? So you need good grades for most scholarships, but it's not limited to good grades. They look for well-rounded persons. So you may have that, okay, everybody who applies for the scholarship has the average that they're looking for, but what will make you stand out? So the other thing that you're involved in, are you involved in extracurricular activities? Do you have leadership skills, right? Are you involved in any community service or volunteerism? These things are very important to get a scholarship. And there are different types of scholarships. You have full scholarships, part scholarships. So you have to ensure that you know the type of scholarship that you need and look for it. A grant, on the other hand, is usually a little bit more relaxed than a scholarship. So a grant could be given based on need. You may find that it is not as strict as a scholarship in terms of you may not need to have like a very high academic average, performance average, right? And you may have different types of grants. So you may have a book grant, right? It could be monetary that you get to help you with transportation, accommodation, etc. So that's what a grant is. Then you have bursaries. So bursaries usually come directly from schools. And again, they are financial awards in most cases, and they're usually based on need, right? And then you have a fellowship. So a fellowship does not have to be academic, meaning you can have a fellowship to participate in a program that is not run by a university or a college or a high school. Understand? I had a fellowship years ago where I participated in an entrepreneurship program in Germany. I spent 10 weeks there to work on my venture, the same venture I'm representing now, Link Your Purpose. And then I spent the next 10 months in Jamaica to develop it. So you find that fellowships are broader. They will help you to fulfill a particular role or area that the persons offering the fellowship are focused on. All right, that is the difference. Now you may wonder, how can I get a scholarship, right? So I want to give you some tips to get a scholarship. So first you have to do your research. So you want to use Google, you're already online. Even if you don't have a computer, you have your phone, right? So go onto Google, go on social media. You're already on social media. So don't spend all the time just liking and posting photos or dancing on TikTok, right? Ensure that you're following the people that you need to follow, right? So use social media, follow the companies that are offering the scholarships and keep up to date, right? Go on your schools or the school that you want to, go on their website. And as I said, look at the newspapers. Ensure that you qualify before you apply for the scholarship, right? There's always a criteria for the scholarship. Read it and ensure that you qualify. Because if you apply and you do not qualify for the scholarship, you're only going to disappoint yourself and you're going to waste your time and the time of the persons who are awarding the scholarship, right? Spend time on your application. Do not rush. Do not wait until the last minute. Usually when we wait until the last minute, we don't complete the forms properly. Understand, you may miss something out, and a lot of times we miss the deadlines when we wait, because you may find that you may need a reference and you didn't get to go ask somebody for the reference for that scholarship. And ensure that once you complete the application, submit it, right? So if you complete it and it's perfect and you didn't submit it, then it's almost like the lottery. If you don't have a ticket, you don't stand a chance. If you don't submit it, you really and truly don't have a chance. Should I just go into what providers look for?
Sure.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. So what are some of the things that the scholarship providers look for? The first one is the deadlines. The deadlines are important. Some scholarships, there's an online portal. Once it gets to the deadline, guess what? It automatically closes off. So there's no way for you to apply after the deadline. And then there are other organizations. So my organization last year, when we were given the scholarship, whenever the deadline came, we closed the application. And not only that, any application that came after, we disregarded it. So ensure that you're following the deadline, right? The donors or the providers, they also look at the criteria. So remember, scholarships are often oversubscribed because most persons want a scholarship, right? We had, for one scholarship, we had almost 80 persons apply for the scholarship. So we had to go through 80 applications. So what we do, we look at the criteria and we shortlist those who meet the criteria. That's what providers do. Then in the shortlisting process, right, we select the applicants who are outstanding. So everyone may meet the basic criteria in terms of the grade, in terms of if it is for a particular geographic location. So if the scholarship said that you should be from Manchester, because I came from Manchester, right, and you're from Kingston, then automatically you're disqualified. Understand? So we're looking at these things for shortlisting. But what makes you stand out? Right? If everyone has the grade, what will make you stand out? This is where the extracurricular activities come in, volunteerism, community service, leadership, and your essay. Usually they ask for a paragraph describing yourself and what you use the funds for. The interview, once you've been shortlisted, there's an interview process. Usually scholarship providers, they will all inform you that you have been shortlisted and that you will have an interview, and they tend to give you a particular time period to prepare for your interview. So ensure that you prepare for the interview. What they look for in the interview is authenticity, right? Ensure that whatever you wrote on your application is the same thing that you're saying. And it happens. I've interviewed persons and we are deliberate in that. So we're looking at the application or we're questioning you about what you wrote, and then the answers doesn't match, right? So do not say that you are the leader of a club or that you volunteer here if you know that is not true. Understand? Because it will come out in the interview, right? Ensure that you speak about your passion. What are you passionate about? And usually some of the things that they will ask is, what about your future plans and goals? So we want to know, what are you going to do after high school? What are you going to do after college, after university, right? And what are you using the funds for? Ensure that you look at the criteria, because if the scholarship money is to pay your school fee and maybe to help you to buy books, you can't say you're going to use it to buy a computer or shoes. Do you understand? So ensure that it is in alignment with what the scholarship is being offered for. And the final stage is selection. Who do they select? Who do we select? We select the best overall candidate. So the best candidate does not have to be the brightest candidate, but best overall means the most rounded person who would represent the organization that is giving the scholarship, right? That candidate who is authentic, who is passionate, and who actually have a plan for their future. So those are some of the general tips. And then I think the last thing is that I would want to share is in terms of some of the reasons for rejection. And these are just general reasons. For a lot of scholarships, they're oversubscribed. You have one scholarship, you have 100 thousands of applicants for the one scholarship. So sometimes it's not that you did not qualify or that you're not smart enough, but there were so many applications and they had to select one. You did not qualify or meet the criteria, right? That's another reason for rejection. Not well-rounded. So use this time to ensure that, yes, your grades might be great, and if they're not, then work on those. But what else are you doing? Join a club. Understand, start something. Start something in your community, in your church, right? Volunteer, okay? If you did not display need. Now, this is not for all scholarships. Some scholarships are needs-based, while some aren't. So if it is a needs-based scholarship and you did not display that you need this money, then you will be disqualified. You won't get it, right? This is important again, inauthentic. Again, whatever information is on your application form, ensure it comes out in your interview. Inarticulate, right? In the interview, you cannot articulate, you cannot speak about yourself. Ensure that you practice. Sometimes we all get a little bit shy, right? But you have time to practice and prepare yourself for the interview. And usually you can use the questions that were asked on your application to help you to prepare. If you have no goals or future plan, that is not a good thing. So when persons or when the interviewers will ask you, what is your plan after high school, after college, right? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? you need to have an answer for them. And the final one is you don't know how the funds will be used. You don't know how you're going to use the funds, then that's not good enough to convince the donors that they should give this money to you, because you may end up using the money for other things outside of what it should be used for. So those are general tips to finding and actually getting a scholarship.
Thank you so much, Lanisia. I'm sure persons listening, they're like literally rejoicing and giving God thanks for the wealth of information that you just shared. Because to be honest, I think many persons tend to limit, as you say, just to the academics. You know, I'm brilliant and that's about it. But there are so many other facets that they need to consider in terms of the volunteerism that they undertake over time, their leadership capability, but more so, one of the things that I love that you touched on is their ability to have a goal or a plan. And I think many times many persons don't look beyond the degree, or they don't look beyond their years of study. What will you do thereafter? And I think many persons right now need to have a seat, sit down and really think about what you will be doing after you've completed your study. Another thing, guys, be authentic. Anything you put on the application, make sure say it truthful. Because if you are asked and it doesn't line up, it's not going to be a good look for you. So ensure that you are being authentic, that you're being truthful when you write your application. So thank you so much, Lanisia. And you also have the opportunity to pose questions to our panelists as well. So feel free to type your comments, all right? So we're going to jump over right now to Dr. Tamika Benjamin. Now, Dr. Benjamin is going to give you an overview of the scholarships that the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information has. And she's going to be telling you in terms of how you can qualify, what are the terms or conditions of the scholarships that the ministry has, but equally so, how can you apply? And most importantly, what are the application mistakes to avoid, to follow the rhythm and take away yourself from, okay? And also, when are some of the deadlines for the scholarships within the ministry? So Dr. Benjamin, over to you.
Thank you, Ruth. So the Ministry of Education offers quite a number of scholarships each year. There are the traditional Jamaica Open scholarships and the Jamaica Scholarship that are currently open. I think they closed at the end of April. So I'm not going to focus too much on those. I'm going to focus on those that are still available. And these are scholarships that are available in some specialized areas. Most of them are going to be available in areas for which there is a demonstrated need nationally. So math education, science education with particular focus on chemistry and physics, and special education, agricultural science, visual arts, and industrial arts education. So if you're interested, or even if you never thought of education, there are scholarships available in those areas. And we also have scholarships available in any branch of engineering that can be accessed at the University of the West Indies, the University of Technology, and the Caribbean Maritime University. All of these scholarships are full tuition scholarships. So they will cover all the fees. And if a student has demonstrated a need, let's say they're planning to go to the University of Technology and they live in Montego Bay, so they have demonstrated that need, boarding will also be covered under the scholarship award. Students also receive an annual book grant. And if a student, through their interview, in terms of opening up themselves, makes it clear or demonstrates that there is a need. So although the scholarships are not all awarded on the basis of need, when we recognize that a student may, for instance, having qualified and gotten into a program at J-TEC or UWI, may have challenges just traveling back and forth for home when they need to, there is an additional maintenance grant that is provided annually as well. Now, to qualify for the scholarships, students must be a Jamaican citizen and they should not be older than 35 years. They must be accepted to one of the participating institutions. So for each of the specializations, there are particular institutions that the award can be accessed at. And all of this information that I'm sharing here is available on the Ministry of Education's website. If you look on the tertiary and then scholarships, a lot more details are available. And there are flyers that are currently circulating and little video clips on social media as well. But you can check the ministry's website if you want more details in terms of which institutions you can access the math education scholarships at. If you are a returning student, you should not be further along in your program, meaning this is not your first year you're entering the program. You should not be any further than your second year. And that is because of the bonding arrangements that I'll get to a little later. And if you are returning, you should have a GPA of no less than 3.0. In terms of qualifications, this will vary a little bit because clearly the qualifications must be aligned to the matriculation requirements to enter the programs. But for the education courses, you must have the minimum standard to become a teacher, which is math and English, and at least 5 subjects, including math and English. But if you're going to go to do math education or physics or chemistry, clearly you must have those subjects in your 5, and you should have them at a grade 1 or a grade 2. And of course, we're preparing teachers, so we want to make sure that you have a strong foundation to be an excellent teacher, but even more importantly at this point, a strong foundation to finish the program strong, finish it well. So we ask for you to have a 1 or 2. Now, clearly, over the past few years, since we've been offering these scholarships since 2016, the demand for them has soared. And so initially, we would have taken the students with the CSEC requirements. Now we're finding students applying with CAPE. And as Lanisia would have said, there is a competitive part to the scholarship. So if somebody applies and they have CAPE 1 and 2 math, and you only have CSEC math, clearly the student with CAPE is going to be a little bit ahead of you. And so we've been finding over the past few years, as the number of applications have outrun the number of scholarships available, we've had to be doing a little bit of, tiering and grading, giving points. And so students with CAPE are actually going to have an advantage. But it doesn't mean that if you don't have it, you should not apply, because you really don't know what is going to happen in any given year. The TEC-VOC related programs like the agricultural science and the visual arts and the industrial arts, if you have City and Guilds and other occupational qualifications, those will also be accepted and considered as a part of your qualified, as long as the qualifications are recognized by the institution that you're applying to. So although we speak to CSEC, CAPE, GCE, if you have NVQs, CVQs, or if you have City and Guilds, those qualifications will be accepted once the institution that's offering the program will recognize them as well. Now, how do you apply? Particularly with COVID, we're going all online. We want to minimize staff handling paper. I also want to make it convenient because we've been saying 10 a yard, so we're not asking you to hop on a bus and travel all the way to Kingston or wherever to the ministry's head office. So you can access the application forms online. At present, we're trying to convert them to editable forms. So hopefully by Monday they will be there, so you don't have to worry about downloading and printing and then uploading. And so you can complete the form. You will need a passport-sized photograph, proof of your qualifications, so a copy of your CSEC cert or your CAPE cert. If you don't have the qualifications yet, meaning you're about to sit CSEC and you're about to sit CAPE, that's okay. You can still indicate that you are about to sit and your results are pending. And once they become available, you submit them to the ministry. We'll process you, interview you, but we will not make a decision until we have the results. So that's the beauty of this scholarship. We allow students who don't quite have their results. We are willing to wait, and we know this year there'll be probably a little bit delay with all that we're facing with COVID, but we will wait until the results are available to make the final decisions on the awards. All of the documentation needed to support the application, they're listed on the front of the application form. And for most students who would have applied to tertiary, they would have gotten some preliminary award acceptance letter. We ask you to include that so we know that you have already been accepted to that program of study. Ensure that your contact information is there. We usually ask on the form your details, your email, your telephone number. People oftentimes write their email addresses incorrectly or illegibly. Make sure that it's easy for us, which is why we encourage you to actually fill it out by computer versus use handwriting. And ensure that you also provide contact details for the relative. You won't know how many times we've had to be tracking down a parent or somebody else because we're unable to successfully contact a potential successful applicant. And all the forms can be submitted to scholarships@moey.gov.jm. And that information again is detailed on the front of the application form. We will contact all shortlisted candidates. So once you meet all of the criteria, we will contact you and schedule you for an interview. And that contact is often made by email. So you can consider on average, we have in excess of 500, 1,000 applications, and I'm not exaggerating, for all of the scholarships. It's very difficult to sit with somebody making 1,000 telephone calls. So we would normally send an email out to each candidate indicating the date, the time, and the venue of the interview. And it's important for you to be checking your emails on a regular basis, so that we usually try and give a week to 2 weeks in advance notice. So we ask you to check. And the interviews usually are run between the middle of July and the middle of August. What mistakes should applicants avoid? Well, as I mentioned before, ensure that the information you provide is accurate, not just from the perspective Lanisia shared of authenticity, but also ensure your email is correct and your telephone number. I can't stress that much more, because that's a common issue that we have. Don't forget to check your emails. One of our challenges is students writing us long after the fact to say, oh, they didn't see the email. And we all know by now, sometimes you have to check your spam just to make sure the email didn't go somewhere you didn't want. So since it's something you want, you need to be aggressive about it, and you need to take the initiative to be consistently looking out for the emails. Make sure you complete all the sections of the form. Nobody is going to be calling you to say, hey, you forgot to provide this and you forgot to do this. So ensure, and that includes the front of the form, which asks you to indicate what program you're going to do. That's extremely important. So whether it's engineering or it's math education, and it also asks you to indicate the institution, ensure you complete that section. And a common error, which is why we want to have the editable forms, is that people scan all the pages except the front page. So you're to scan, if you're going to print and complete, scan the entire document, including the front page, and send that to us by email. Now, those scholarships are already open, and they will close on the 30th of June, 2020. And we're really asking that everybody, so frankly speaking, this being the 1st of May, there are another 2 wonderful months available for you to find the time to take your wonderful picture and copy all of your documents and get everything together. If there is a challenge having a document prepared or ready on time, you can submit your application with what documents you have. And in the email, you can ensure that you communicate that there's a challenge with this document, but should I be shortlisted, I'll present it at the interview. We are flexible like that. So you can indicate in the email that you have a challenge. These scholarships carry a bonding arrangement. So the government of Jamaica is investing in you. And while it's investing in you for your personal development, it's investing in you for national growth and development. And so as a result, having paid all of your fees and made sure you are put up, and in some instances, depending on the institution, fed 2 times per day, we ask you to give back to country. And so you'll be required, if you do one of the education programs, to serve a maximum of 5 years. Well, for all of them, the maximum bond length is 5 years. And the length of the bond will be dependent on the amount of the total award, which varies from student to student, because if a student wasn't boarding, then clearly the award would have been less. So, and that information, if you want to see it in detail, is available on the Ministry of Finance's website. So you can just look for the bonding policy and it will tell you the range of the award made and how long the bond is. And to sign the bond, you will need 2 guarantors who are willing to sign the bond on your behalf. And usually we ask that you sign that bond within the first semester having started your program. Just one of the comments I would want to make, I don't know if you want me to go into Jumba now, but before I stop anyway, one of the comments I want to make is one of the challenges we've had over the years is students who don't communicate well by email or handle themselves well on the telephone. And you don't, sometimes we're professionals, but they're people. So you call and you're being rude or you're speaking down to the staff. Those things don't bode well for you, especially if you are competing for something. And so one of the things, as I constantly try to say, I usually use the opportunity to speak to young people when I have that. So, you know, you send an email and the first line of the email is, I didn't get so-and-so. We still start with a greeting. If you don't know who the person is, you say, dear sir, madam, and then you express yourself and always introduce yourself, because remember, you are one of however many people writing. So I'm so-and-so, I applied for so-and-so, and you do that. No matter how many times you write that email, always start with a proper greeting. It makes a big difference to the person who is gonna have to serve you. And when you call and you want information, again, ensure that you're courteous. These things, I'm sure all our grannies and our mummies and daddies taught us, they go a very long way and they make a big difference in moments like these. So I want to just encourage the students who will be applying, don't forget your manners at home. Make sure you're courteous, whether you are writing or whether you are making a telephone call. But we look forward to the applications. We have had the privilege of seeing students who would never have been able to access tertiary education go through and complete successfully and are now teaching. So far, we've had more than 200 persons graduate and enter the teaching profession. And so we're looking forward to the opportunity to support another set of young Jamaicans contribute to making Jamaica the place to live, work, raise families, and do business. One last comment I was going to make that slips my mind, but it's come back quickly, is that scholarship recipients, your award covers you for the entire period you are studying. So once you receive the scholarship in the first year or the second year, we'll pay for it straight until graduation. However, you must maintain a 3.0 GPA to maintain funding. And so be prepared to go to school and forget about the parties and all of the other things, because it's really sad to see students receive a gift in their hand and throw it away in a year because they failed to meet one critical requirement. So make sure you are prepared to do the work to hold on to that award, especially if you know that there'll be no option available for you to complete that program of study without the scholarship.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Benjamin. I'm sure you're going to go into a little bit about JAMVAT. So I'll probably give you the opportunity to just quickly touch on JAMVAT, because I'm seeing where many persons are very curious. They're asking, please speak on the JAMVAT program. So I'm just going to allow you to just give us a little overview of that.
Not a problem. So JAMVAT is the Jamaica Values and Attitudes Program. And as you would have mentioned earlier, Ruth, it provides tuition assistance to tertiary students who qualify for admission. So they should have been accepted to the institution, but they are not able to find all of their tuition fees. Now, it's designed to encourage positive values and attitudes that will support community development. And hence, there is a component of we support you with the fees, but you contribute through your time in some voluntary way. Now, we're currently in the 2020-21 application cycle, and the applications opened on the 1st of April. And just as the scholarships, the ministry has been streamlining everything. So they too will close on the 30th of June. And you can find information on the ministry's website as well. Now, persons who can apply, they should be full-time students. They should be pursuing their first degree. They should be unemployed. They must be able to demonstrate a financial need and have a GPA of 2.5 or above. But the student must also be able to demonstrate that when the government pays the 30% of their tuition cost up to a maximum of $350,000, that they are able to find the balance, okay? Now, the students benefit from first-hand work experience, and they're required to complete 200 voluntary hours. And the documentation required includes their acceptance or status letter, their tuition letter, a letter outlining what the cost of their program is, a transcript if they are returning, a photograph, a valid ID, their TRN, and they must complete the form. Once they've been approved to participate in JAMVAT, the student is then required to complete the 200 voluntary hours within a government organization. So they can do it within a school, a hospital, a police station, within a government ministry or agency. Or they can do it in a non-profitable organization, for instance, the Salvation Army, GSPCA, working in an infirmary or something like that, right? And students can benefit from JAMVAT for a period not exceeding 3 years. So you can apply for three times within the program of study. And as I mentioned before, they must be able to demonstrate their ability to pay the remainder. Students who have applied, even if that means that their balance can be covered through the Student Loan Bureau. So we're not saying you must have the cash, but you must at least be able to indicate that you have applied to the Student Loan Bureau and you have been approved. Age-wise, again, 18, maximum age of 35, and they should not be 35 beyond. They should be 35 on or before the 31st of December of this year. For email, if they want additional information, they can send an email to jamvat@moey.gov.jm.
All right, awesome. So we have a number of questions coming up, but what I'm gonna do is that we're seeing your questions, guys, both on YouTube and also on Zoom. So don't think that you've been left out. So we're loading all of the questions to post to the panelists. But what we're gonna do is just allow each person to make their presentation, and then we jump right into the questions. So we got you, okay? So don't worry. All right, so at this time, we're gonna go. Thank you so much again, Dr. Benjamin. Let me tell you something. I don't know, maybe you're the favorite around here, but everybody was just screaming about the scholarships that the MOU has. So thank you so much for sharing that information with us. And I'm sure that most of you would have found that very, very insightful, and naturally, don't just grab the information, utilize it, okay? All right, so we're gonna quickly jump over to Mrs. Gina Sanguinetti Phillips. and she is, of course, from CRIF. So she's going to tell you a little bit about the scholarships that they have for undergraduate students and also for master's students, because I know that some of you were very nervous about the master's, the postgraduate person. So she would be able to share some of what they have for you. All right, over to you, Mrs. Phillips.
Thank you, Ruth. Just to say one or two words about CRIF itself before I start, and then I'll just talk about the programs in detail, a little detail. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see. So if you can just confirm that you can see the screen.
Yes, it's up.
Okay, thank you. So this is my organization, CRIF SPC, and in one sentence, I'm not going to go through this whole slide, but basically we provide hurricane, earthquake, and excess rainfall insurance to Caribbean governments. And we have 22 member governments, including Jamaica, who's been a member since 2007. And you can find out more information about CRIF if you go on our website, crif.org. So since we're focusing on the scholarships, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about CRIF itself, but really to focus on our scholarship programs. And so we've been implementing these scholarships since 2010. And we have, this year, we're offering up to 4 scholarships to students who are already at the University of the West Indies at any campus who are going into their second year. And so we offer scholarships in a number of select areas of study related to disaster risk management, including geography, meteorology, engineering, natural environmental management, a number of specific areas. And these scholarships are $8,000 US for the 2 years of study, but students have to maintain a GPA of at least 3.0 in their second year to be able to qualify for the third year scholarship. So it's $4,000 per year. And the website is there. You can find out more information about that. And so these are for students who are already at the university, and this program is managed through the university administration itself. The second program we have is the CRIF Scholarship Program, which provides up to eight scholarships this coming year for master's programs. And these are for study at universities here in the Caribbean, including the University of the West Indies, but also other universities in the region, as well as the US, UK, and Canada. And in Jamaica, the universities present would be UWI, as well as J-TEC and the Northern Caribbean University. They have eligible programs that qualify for this particular program. And if you have friends who are in Guyana or in Suriname, you can encourage them to apply, because University of Suriname and University of Guyana are also eligible because they have specific programs that qualify. So this scholarship is at the University of the West Indies. It's up to $11,000 US per year, or for the year. And for the programs in the US, UK, or Canada, the scholarships are up to $40,000 US, and they cover the airfare, they cover tuition, accommodation, and a stipend for living expenses. I saw a question earlier about part-time students. These scholarships are available for online programs, and we have provided scholarships for online programs which are typically part-time, and so those programs are eligible. But again, it has to be in areas related to disaster risk management at some level, and you can see a list of eligible programs on the website. Again, the URL is provided there. So since the program started in 2010, CRIF has awarded 77 scholarships in all, about 1.1 million US dollars in all. And of those, Jamaican students have got almost half of those scholarships, as you can see, 36 scholarships to Jamaicans. So you're very well represented, and we look forward to having more applications. The deadline for the CRIF Scholarship Program is June 15, so it's a bit earlier than the ministry deadline. So we encourage you to keep your eye on that. and the scholarship applications are made through the CRIF website. So it's a completely online process. And as our other speakers have said, there is an interview process for shortlisted persons. And that interview obviously is also an online interview. So thank you, Ruth, for giving me the opportunity to share this information with your students. I see over 100 people are in the webinar, so that's wonderful. And if anyone has questions, please just go to the CRIF website and you can contact us.
Awesome.
Just one quick word, sorry. We do have an internship program, so persons can find out information about that as well, also on the website. And I'll just leave our contact and a small grants program, but I'll just leave my contact information up there for a second so people can take down this information. You can always send us questions if you need additional information.
And don't worry, guys, what we will also do, the information that is shared today will be posted to www.youthjamaica.com and also www.jtec.gov.jm. All right. So it will be posted on both Youth Jamaica and the J-TEC's website. All right. So don't worry, we've got you covered. Thank you so much, Mrs. Phillips.
Okay, let me take my sharing off now.
All righty. Awesome. So remember, guys, please submit your questions. We're going to be getting to them a little later. So we're going to jump over quickly right now to Miss Tracey-Ann Smith. And of course, Tracy is going to speak a little bit on the number of scholarships that are available locally. And she's also going to show you how it is that you navigate the scholarship database. She's going to give you an overview in terms of the scholarships listed, but most importantly, she will highlight the scholarship opportunities for the given institution. So for example, UE, J-TEC, CMU, NCU, and so on. So Tracy, are you ready to go with the goods?
Hi, Ruth. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Hello. Hi. So Ruth, we understand that it can be quite difficult for students to navigate all the scholarships that are available to them. So what we at J-TEC did was to put together an inventory of all scholarships, or most scholarships that Jamaican students are eligible for. So scholarships study locally, overseas, some grants that are available to students, as well as some educational loans. If you go on our website, we'll be doing a demonstration right now. So if Matthew could just share the screen. When you go to www.jtec.gov.jm, the first banner there is get all scholarship information you need all in one place. So you click here to view the J-TEC scholarship database, and it'll basically take you to our Airtable platform that we have put together. All the scholarships that we have found that Jamaican students can apply for. We have a total of, to date, and we're still adding. As soon as we get scholarships, we upload them to our database. And we also upload them on our social media platforms. So you check J-TEC on Facebook, check J-TEC on Instagram. So on our first tab, you'll see Jamaican scholarships, where that has to date 119 records. And most of these scholarships are for the 2021 academic year. They are broken down according to area of study, eligibility criteria, the amount being awarded, the institution or organization that is offering the scholarship, also the selection criteria, method of selection, tenure. Some scholarships do indicate for how long they will offer the award, whether 1 or 2 years, the number of award, as well as some contact details for those donors, the deadline, information like that. So we have scholarships in our database for University of West Indies students, students from UTEC, students from Edna Manley. We recently got a question from, I think it's Edna Manley student about scholarships. We have a few scholarships in the database that speak performing arts. So students from the Edna can also take a look at our website, take a look at the database to see the scholarships that they can apply for. We also have scholarships for law, engineering. The beauty also about it is that a lot of the scholarships that are being offered do cover a wide variety of programs. So not all scholarships are specific to a program of study, are specific to an area of discipline. So some scholarships, such as the Barbara Smith scholarships that is being offered for all faculties and programs at the University of the West Indies. You also have from careers. You also have here from Educom Cooperative Credit Union, Grace Kennedy, which is a popular one. Today, the scholarship database has over $10 million of scholarships, and I'm just speaking on scholarships that Jamaican students can have access to. We also have international scholarships. So if you're interested in studying in, there are scholarships here from Malaysia, Turkey, Russia, the Cuba-Jamaica bilateral scholarship, which closed, I believe, yesterday because it was extended for additional month due to COVID. So we had this Cuban scholarship, New Zealand, the Fulbright scholarship, which I believe is open today, as of today, Taiwan, Turkey. So what we do, we try to dig for as many scholarships that we can find that Jamaican students can apply for and upload them into our database. So it takes a lot of work. It saves a lot of time as students in terms of navigating the space for scholarships. So for planning, it's very important that you know what the scholarships that are out there, scholarships that you can apply for, and we made sure to have this available at one place for students. But that doesn't mean that you should not do your research, right? Because for some scholarship, you might need to reach out to the donor for any other queries or concerns that you might have. So we also encourage you to also do your research, but we try to take as much work as, we try to eliminate as much work as possible for students to make it a little bit easier. We also have grants that Jamaican students can access. Jumba, we have student loan grant. The Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, they have a grant that they provide to tertiary students as well. The Spark It Up Education Grant. Loans, we understand that not everybody will get a scholarship, but there are also loans that students can access. There's student loans. So we put together as many educational loans that we could find that students could utilize. We put the interest rate, so you can compare what is the interest rate at, I'd say, a Scotiabank or NCB compared to a student loan. What's the number of years to repay? What are some of the requirements, as well as the website link. So we just try to make it a little bit easier for students to navigate the scholarship landscape, to plan properly, to know exactly to know beforehand as well, some of the scholarships that they can apply for when the next season comes. Today's the 1st of May. Scholarship to go insert would have been in the Jamaica Gleaner, which also has something similar to here with all the scholarships, or most scholarships that tertiary students can apply for. And we also take that information and upload it to our website, because try to make it digital. We're in 2020, 21st century, easier to search. You know, it's no longer pen and paper. We're flipping through newspaper all the time. We try to digitize as much as we can.
Right. But you know, Tracy, I'm very, very jealous. There was this when I was doing my undergraduate degree. Like I struggled. I struggled so much.
Exactly.
I mean, when I look at the young people right now, they have a database with local and international scholarships. Plus, you're going to detail in terms of how you can contact what are the no, my hurts, my very hurts. But you know, the Lord says forgive. So I will forgive J-TEC, for they know not what they have done.
Well, I mean, as a former university student as well, we didn't have this. I didn't have this 10, 15 years ago. When I was attending university, we only knew about scholarships that were offered at the institution. And we weren't so affair as these young persons with the internet and knowing how to search and all of that. But when we do go out and we visit, especially our secondary high schools, we do go through the database of the students. We try to let them be as aware as possible as the number of scholarships that they can access. A lot of students are timid to apply for scholarship. And as Lanisia made mention earlier, was not all scholarships are merit-based. A lot of them are also needs-based. It's not really for the brightest students, but students that are well-rounded. So we always encourage students to do their research to find out as much as possible about the scholarships that are out there, what they can access, and not to be intimidated by just the term scholarship and think that, oh, it's because I have to be bright and have a 10, 15 CXC, so it don't make no sense. No, put your foot in the game, because a lot of scholarships do go back to donors because students do not apply. Also, there are scholarships that graduate level students can apply for. For example, the OAS offers over 500 scholarship opportunities to pursue master's and doctorate programs. So it's not just undergraduate programs that we're searching scholarships for, it's also for persons that want to study, that want to do their graduate level study.
Right.
So we also have scholarships, international scholarship for students that are interested in pursuing their masters and their PhDs.
Wow.
So we just want to make it easier for persons. Aren't we wonderful?
And I'm sure everybody is just clapping right now and just rejoicing. I know that during COVID, many persons were probably going on fasting and praying that God will send an answer. And indeed, I'm sure that they can rejoice and say that their prayers are answered. Amen?
Amen.
You can type amen. Bless God. All right, so we're winding down nicely and we're almost through with the webinar, guys. But before we go, Matthew is here. And Matthew is gonna briefly be going over the PTF database. He's gonna be showing you guys how to navigate that database and just touching a little bit too in terms of how you compare and contrast your fees and what are some of the proactive plans that you can put in place as it relates to pursuing higher education. So Matthew, it's over to you at this time.
All right, welcome again, everybody. Those of you joining in on YouTube and on Zoom. At J-TEC, we're big on proactive planning for higher education. The Ministry of Education on a whole is about proactive planning for higher education. And of course, one of the things that will allow you to better plan for higher education is getting information. I don't want to steal the show here because this is actually the sweat and time of Tracey-Ann doing her research. And getting all of these tuition costs in. But this tool is supposed to be able to help students compare the cost of programs between different institutions. It's like if I want to buy a car, I'm going to call different car dealers to find out who has the best price on the product I want. And we want students to view their education in a similar way, to be able to compare and contrast not only the offerings of the school, but to be able to do that easily by looking at the cost. So the tuition fee database, or what we call the PTF database for short, is a tool that was developed by the Policy and Planning Division at J-TEC, right? So it's been in existence for several months, and it's updated. It's updated on a quarterly basis. So for those, I'm going to be displaying it here quickly, so you can have a look. All right, so for those of you watching, it's actually located at jtec.gov.jm. So this is the page, it's called the tuition fee database. Now, once you come here, you see that it lists over 175 programs from over 22 universities and counting. And of course, it's in one platform. All right, so let's have a look. So we can view the cost of tuition by institution, or we can view it by program. So let's say I'm interested in business and I want to study accounting. So it shows you the various accounting programs, and you can see that there are several options here. So you can see EXED Community College, University of Technology, UCC, and how the program is offered and the cost of the program. So as you see scrolling across, you'll see that it's offered part-time or full-time, whether it's face-to-face or online, and most importantly, the cost. All right, so we try to stay on top of this as frequently as we can to get the data from the schools. So students, parents, more importantly, can come and have a look and say, okay, this is what it's gonna cost for my child to go to university, because university or higher education should be an option. It should be the right of every child, and parents, we encourage them to use tools like this to help to plan for their child's education. And then for students now to be able to look and to be able to compare and contrast what the tuition costs are. So let's try searching by institution. So you look, you'll see that we have various institutions listed here. The Bethlehem Moravian College, Brownstown Community College, the Caribbean Maritime Institute, several institutions listed here. You'll see other programs from Church Teachers College, CASE in Portland. I know that somebody in our YouTube live chat had asked about CASE and scholarships from CASE. So programs are listed here from several higher education institutions. So we want to be able to put as much information into the hands of our students and our parents so that they can make more informed decisions. So that is a tool and it's listed on the J-TEC website. So feel free to check it out, viewers, have a look at it, share your feedback with us. As Tracy-Ann had mentioned, we're trying to ensure that we put together as many useful tools as possible to help you on your higher education journey.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew. So listen, because we're going to go to the question, but because you have been such good stewards, right, we're going to be giving away some credits again. So if you have your phone, start dialing digital. You know, we don't have any flow today. So flow, hint, next time you can give us some credits, all right? So it's *121*. So that's *121*5312278071584. Let me repeat, *121*5312278071584. Listen, don't be selfish. If you get it, say, hey, I got it. All right, and that credit was courtesy of the National Secondary Students Council, but J-TEC got jealous. Bless God, they got jealous. And J-TEC roll up some credit and send it over. So we're gonna go to the J-TEC credit right now, and it's *121*7604008041212. All right, so it's 7604008041212. Listen, right now in COVID, we need a little credit, not true? Big up yourself. We got you, okay? All right, we'll have some more, but we'll give it away a little later. All right, so we're gonna go to some questions though. So some of you would have asked some questions both on YouTube rather, and also via Zoom. So I'm gonna go to those questions quickly. Marky, we can't go through all of them, so I'm gonna select very wisely some of the questions that I got. All right, so persons are asking Dr. Benjamin, if there are scholarship opportunities for persons who want to study overseas. Are there any scholarships for persons who want to study overseas?
No, all of the scholarships that the ministry offers are offered locally and for publicly funded institutions.
Okay, awesome, no problem. So persons also asked that you would have said the age would have been 18 to 35, correct? So they want to find out, are there any postgraduate scholarships that are offered? Only undergrad.
Right, only for undergraduates.
Graduate. All right, no problem. So another question is that are these scholarships or grants available for part-time students? I'm assuming you would have answered that by saying full-time, correct?
They're full-time.
Only full-time students. All right, so we're going through quickly. It says here, most of these scholarships require certificate of domicile and certificate of character. Where do we get that and how in times like this? That's a very good question.
I don't know any of the awards that I manage that require any of those. We usually ask for a reference. And if the referee is able to do, you can always scan and upload those. And what we usually ask is that any document you scan and upload anyway, you would have had to work with the originals coming to the interview. So you can submit whatever you have electronically, and then when you come to the interview, you bring the hard copy at that point in time.
Okay, awesome. This question is, in case you get accepted by Jumba, is it that the entire year that you're going to school, you can't be working?
Well, I'm not sure I'm fully.
What the person saying, you would have mentioned that they would need to not be employed. So is it, let's say, for example, they would have been awarded Jumba, but subsequent to that, they would have gotten a job. Would they be disqualified as a result of that? Or
the expectation with most of the awards that the ministry makes is that we're providing funding for students who are not working. They're the ones that will benefit. So that's why, for instance, I know most people would ask about part-time because they could work the other part, but we want to ensure that the students who are benefiting are students who really need the support. So in that instance, it may disqualify you.
All right, no problem.
I don't manage Jambat, so I would suggest the email, send an email to the official email address if they want further clarification.
Okay, and Dr. Benjamin would have provided that earlier, but let me reiterate for your, well, to help you, it's Jambat.
Want me to repeat it?
AAMVAT at moey.gov.jm. So if you have any questions or queries with regards to the Jambat program, feel free to email them. All right, there's a team waiting to assist you. And you can also call the ministry, which is 876-922-1400, and speak to the operator, ask them to transfer you to the Jambat unit. All right. Okay. The last question is, can students volunteer to update? Okay, can students volunteer to update the database for J-TEC? I guess that's a question for Matthew and team.
Okay, all right. So I saw the question. Yes, students can reach out to us if there is some information there that you have concerns about, or you know that needs to be updated. You can send us an email. Of course, we'll verify the information with the institution. So as I said, it's something that we check on quarterly. We reach out to the institutions to have them send their tuition information to us. But if there's something that you see there that you have a question about, or you know may need adjusting, just send us an email. You can email us at jtec@moey.gov.jm, and we'll see it. We'll verify it with the institution to ensure that we have the most update and the most accurate information for you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Matthew. So guys, listen, we are at the end of our webinar. I don't know about you, but woot woot. All right, anyways, let me behave myself. So, all right, before we go out, we gotta go out with a bang, y'all. So I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 credit to give away. So listen, if your finger them slow, me cannot help you, okay? You need to pray over your hands that the Lord will touch you. So, all right, let's run the credit right now. So we have dial *121 *5418895450055. Again, 5418895450055. All right, and this is from the NSSC. Let me see here. And again, you see, I have to big up NSSC, you know, because these are student leaders and them say, yo, now having a webinar, we're going to donate some credit. So again, credit from NSSC is 928-2269117242. All right. So Matthew, guess what? The other credits, I think we need to scratch out the credits. Matthew, like they're still there. But anyways, we're not bad man, we're not hit. But guys, thank you so much for your time, for your questions. And listen, again, if you have questions, feel free to email the Jumba program, that's jamvat@moey.gov.jm, or to email J-TEC. What's the email for? No, the website rather for J-TEC is www.jtec.gov.jm. Simply, but most importantly, feel free to visit youthjamaica.com. That's www.youthjamaica.com. It's pretty simple and pretty easy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and see you next time when we have our webinar. So blessings, peace, and love. Thank you for coming. I'm Ruth Lawrence. Thank you for joining us. Blessings.